Romac Lumber and Supply. Buy where the builders buy.
Singer, he said, "Do you have any songs?" And I didn't. Wesley Rose, and he said, "Well, if you're going to be in our business," he said, "you need to write some songs." And he said, "You're going to have a hard time, making it, since you can't talk." And I said, "Okay." So I went home. I did a few little odd jobs for my aunts and uncles. I painted at their houses, and all I could do. And I began to try to write songs, and I had a talent I didn't know it was even there. And I wrote 3 songs. I took them back up, and all 3 of them was #1. That old angel. Anyway, and I began I got some advance money, and I moved, and I got married in between times, and my wife was pregnant, and I had a 49 Mercury, and I had a hole in the windshield. I had my old football jersey in that hole, and I had $29, and I went to Nashville. Doris and Doris was pregnant with Pam at the time, and I got up there. I still had about $11 left. And things began to happen, and I got me a job with Minnie Pearl. Yeah, she put together a little band to go out and do some fair dates, and all over the Midwest. And she needed she hired me first, and she said, "I need a fiddle player." I said, "I met one today," and I did. At a coffee shop, Clarkson Hotel, and that's where all the pickers and the hillbillies, hung out at the time. And this particular a fellow with a bellhop had on that little monkey outfit. And anyway, I said, "I met one today. He said he could play," and she said, "Do you think you can find him?" I said, "I'll try to." So I went back to the hotel, and there he was in there. And I said, "You want a job?" He said, "Doing what?" I said, "Playing fiddle." You said you could play fiddle. He said, "I can." I said, "Are you any good?" He said, "Yeah, I guess I am." And he said, "How much does it pay?" I said, $18 a show. If we do 2 shows, $36. And I said, "Where are you going?" He said, to the Clarkson Hotel, and give him about 2 minutes notice. And his name was Roger Miller. And we went out on the road with Miss Minnie Pearl, and we was out for about 4 months. And meantime, the town was born, and we was out on the road. And I would introduce. Roger would introduce my song. He said, "Here's Melvin Tillis, and he's got a new song out, and he wants you to hear it." And he'd introduce my song, and I'd sing it, and I'd finish it, and he'd come back home, and he said, "The Mel says thank you." So, and Miss Minnie was watching it, And one day she said, and I went up, and she said, "Melvin, if you're going to be in our business, you need to introduce your own song. And you need to thank them after that, and then you need to sign autographs." I said, "Miss Minnie, I can't do it." I said, "They'll laugh at me." She said, "No, they won't, Melvin." She said, "They'll laugh with you." And the next thing I knew, I started talking on stage. And the next thing I knew, I was on the Johnny Carson show. So I began talking on stage, and the more that I talk on stage, the less I stutter. Matter of fact, not too long ago, I was signing an autograph at a casino somewhere in Texas, or Oklahoma it was, and this old boy came to the office. Hell, I paid $40 to hear you stutter. You ain't stuttered a damn bit. I said, I'm trying to quit. But anyway, things began to happen, you know, and the next thing I knew, I'm doing movies. Old Burt Reynolds, he's from down there in Jupiter, and he played football at West Palm Beach, and I played at Pahokee. Anyway, he called me Pahokee Trash. But I love him to death. He put me in, I don't know, for 4 or 5 of his movies, and I was in them. Yeah, I can't act, you know, but I was in them. I think that for the marquee value. Anyway, Arnold Schwarzenegger, you know, I met him, and before we did our scene, he told me, he said, "You talk funny." Well, hell, you do too. But I guess the one that I love the most in all those shows, Burt Reynolds for one, and Clint Eastwood was awfully nice to work with. And he found me 2 hit songs, and I didn't like the songs when I first heard. He said, "Well, you want to be in the movies, you're going to record these songs if you don't know where to beat you up." So I thought, hell, I recorded. And both of them were #1 hits for me. A Coca-Cola Cowboy and Send Me Down to Tucson. But I really loved old Clint. He hung out with us a whole lot. And, I mean, he's just a regular guy. And Dean Martin was another one that I really enjoyed. I got to be friends with Mr. Frank Sinatra. I recorded an album with his daughter, who couldn't sing a lick. But I loved old Frank so much and his music, and that I did, and I love her too. She's a nice girl, Nancy. But anyway, I hope that I talked to her long. I got an old uncle down there in Pahokee Park. Uncle Ernest is his name. He got a little gas station, a little spur station. It's on the outskirts of town. And he didn't have indoor plumbing. Had outdoor plumbing. And it was a 3-holder. And one day he called old R.D. Hickman out there with a fishing pole, fishing in the middle hole. And Uncle Ernest said, "R.D., he said, what are you doing?" He said, "Uncle Ernest," he said, I dropped my jacket off over there and I'm trying to fish it out of there." He said, "You ain't gonna wear it, are you?" He said, "No, sir, but I got a biscuit in the pocket." I remember one night in Pahokee, I came in from church on Wednesday night, Baptist church. Daddy made us go to church every time the door opened. And that was fine with us, you know, we enjoyed the fellowship and the music and stuff, and he stayed at home. I remember I came in that night, Wednesday night. It was hot, August and dog days. I came in and wasn't too tall at 11. I had my 2 black eyes, and my daddy said, "Son," Daddy said, Daddy couldn't say nothing either. finally he got it out. He said, son, he said, where did you get the black eyes? I said, Daddy, I was in church. I was being good. It was hot that night, like I said, it was so hot. Everybody was aspiring. Everybody had this old funeral home fan to give us the First Baptist Church of Peogue. Everybody had this old fan just to get in. Everybody was aspiring. And Brother Moberg had been preaching for an hour and 45 minutes on a Wednesday night. He didn't need to be preaching all that long on my part, especially because he had already had saved me and Randall Kemp a week and a half ago. And finally he asked us all to stand and sing from the hymnal, His Eyes on the Sparrow. Well, the lady in front of me, her name was Miss Armstrong. Miss Armstrong was a large lady, sort of back complected. Is that a word? Well, when she stood up, I couldn't see nothing. I wasn't too tall, like I said, and she was sweating so bad that her dress was clinging to her. Y'all seen that, I know. If you ain't been nowhere. And it had gathered and bunched on her. I knew she had a problem the minute she stood up. I knew because her problem was staring me right in my face. I felt so sorry for Miss Armstrong, I truly did. I couldn't do that. And finally he asked her to stand and sing from the hymnal, His Eyes on the Sparrow. Well, I forgot all about that sparrow again. And they singing, and I got to praying. You know, I wanted to help her. I didn't know what to do. So I got to praying. I thought the Lord told me, I thought he said to Melvin, here's your chance to do a good deed, and I will put your name down in the book. Well, when I got the word, I reached over. I pulled the rest out for her. And that's when I found out that what the Lord had told me that. It was R.D. Hickman. I said, Daddy, that's how I got my first black eye. And he said, how'd you get that other one, son? I said, I put it back in for her. I forgot to tell y'all this too. During my 55-year career, I spent about 8 months. I bought 20 acres off the Villa City Road over on Lake Arthur. Old Dick Toole, I think was his name. He had an orange grove down in there. And Hubert Langley was a buddy of mine over in that area. But I lived there about 8 months, and as I could tell, I wrote all them songs over there for Charlie Bryden. But let me see if I got some more stories. I got a bunch. I got a new CD. It's been out for about a year, still in the charts. It's called You Ain't Gonna Believe This. And I'll tell a whole bunch of stories. But you've been a wonderful artist. I'm gonna let y'all ask some questions now if you like. And
Can you sing for us?
no, ma'am, I get paid $25,000 for that. When do you want me to start? Okay, who's going to ask questions? Let me get out there so I can hear y'all. Okay. Who got something to say? Oh, hell, we're through. Anyway, you've been so nice. Yes, ma'am.
Dick Toole's wife, Betty George, grew up in Leesburg.
Is that right? Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah. Oh, Dick, I lived out there about 8 months, and man, I caught every fish in that lake. You know, it was in the days when the lakes were